The smoke from the grill curled between us like it was trying to get away from what she'd just said. If you disappeared tomorrow, no one would even notice. My mother said it with a smile, the kind she used for jokes that weren't jokes. My uncle laughed first. Then my cousins. Then the sound spread across the backyard like something contagious. I looked down at the hot dog in my hand, the bun going soft in the heat, and I raised it anyway, a mock toast, steady, like I hadn't just watched my own family agree I was disposable. Challenge accepted. Nobody heard me say it right. They thought I was playing along. My name is Delphine Rowe. I'm 31 years old. I used to wonder how long you can stand in a room full of people who share your blood and still feel like a stranger. That night, I stopped wondering and started answering. I didn't slam a door. I didn't cry in the car. I finished my plate, hugged my mother goodbye, and let her believe the joke had landed soft. By morning, my apartment was empty. My phone was off. And the woman they thought would never really leave was already gone. Vanishing isn't dramatic. It's quiet, a series of small, deliberate erasures. I'd been planning it for months, ever since the night I overheard my mother on the phone with my aunt, laughing about how I'd always been the extra one. 4 kids, and somehow the math only worked when I wasn't in it. I kept a folder, bank records, a new lease under my maiden name before I'd even legally needed one, a job offer 3 states away that I'd been sitting on for 6 weeks like a loaded question. I wasn't running from grief. I was running from arithmetic, the quiet, constant subtraction of myself from every family equation, done so gently I almost thanked them for it. The last thing I packed was the silver hair clip my grandmother gave me, the one shaped like a crescent moon. She used to say, "Even the moon disappears on purpose, Delphine. It always comes back changed." I left my key on the counter. No note. Notes are for people who still want to be found. By the time my mother woke up to make her coffee, I was already 3 hours gone, watching the sun rise over a state line, wondering how long it would take them to notice I meant it. The first month, I checked my phone constantly. Not for them to apologize, I wasn't that naive anymore, but out of a habit I hadn't unlearned yet, the way you keep touching a tooth that's already gone. Nothing. Not one call. I built a life in the silence. Portland, then a smaller town after that, where nobody knew my last name or the weight it used to carry. I waited tables. I painted my nails colors my mother would have called trying too hard. I let myself take up space in rooms where no one was measuring how much of it I deserved. 6 weeks in, my cousin Marisol found me, not through me, but through a photo a stranger had reposted online, my face half turned, laughing at something that had nothing to do with any of them. She didn't message me. She screenshotted it and sent it to the family group chat with 3 words. "She's fine. Whatever." I found out because a mutual friend, careless with loyalty, forwarded it to me weeks later. "She's fine. Whatever." Not "where is she?" Not "is she safe?" Just, "whatever." I read it twice, then set my phone face down on the counter, and for the first time since the barbecue, I didn't feel invisible. I felt confirmed. 6 months gone, and something shifted, not in them, in me. I started writing letters I never intended to send. Not angry ones. Careful ones, the kind you write to understand your own hand rather than to be read by someone else's eyes. In one, I finally admitted the truth I'd been circling for years. I hadn't disappeared because of one comment at a barbecue. That was just the final digit in a number that had been adding up since I was 9 years old, watching my mother's face light up for my sister's report card and go flat for mine. I wasn't the golden child. I wasn't even the difficult one. I was the forgettable one, and somewhere along the way, I'd started performing that role so well, even I believed it. Not anymore. I got a new job, real this time, operations manager at a mid-sized architecture firm, the kind of title that came with a nameplate and a parking spot with my name on it, not extra, not whatever. My boss, an older woman named Corinne, told me during my first review, "You have this way of noticing what everyone else misses." I almost laughed. Of course I did. I'd spent 31 years being the one who got overlooked. I'd learned to see everything. That skill was about to matter more than she knew. It was Corinne, actually, who brought my mother back into my life, without either of us intending it. The firm had landed a new commercial contract, a boutique hotel renovation 2 towns over. I was reviewing the vendor list when I saw it, Rowe and Associates Catering, my mother's business, bidding for the opening gala. My hands went still on the keyboard. I could have recused myself. Any reasonable person would have. Instead, I sat with it for 3 days, turning the coincidence over like a stone I hadn't asked for but wasn't ready to put down. On the fourth day, I approved the vendor shortlist. Her name stayed on it. Not out of forgiveness. Out of curiosity. The same instinct that used to make me watch her face at dinner, trying to catch the exact moment her attention would slide off me and onto someone easier to love. I didn't reach out. I didn't need to. In a business this size, word travels through hallways before it reaches inboxes, and I knew, the way you know weather is coming before the sky changes, that eventually, someone would say my name in a meeting she was sitting in. I just didn't know it would happen so soon, or that I'd be the one standing at the head of the table when it did. The pre-gala vendor meeting was scheduled for a Tuesday. I walked in 11 minutes late on purpose, folder under my arm, hair pulled back the way Corinne always wore hers, sharp, unbothered, done for no one's approval but my own. My mother was already seated at the far end of the table, laughing at something the event planner said, the same laugh from the barbecue, easy and careless, like the world had always been arranged for her comfort. She saw me and the laugh caught in her throat. Delphine. I didn't flinch. I didn't run the reunion in my head the way I used to, imagining tears, imagining her reaching for me across a table like I was something worth reaching for. Mrs. Rowe, I said instead, professional, even. I'll be overseeing vendor coordination for this project. Something moved behind her eyes. Recognition. Then math, fast and ugly, the same math I'd spent a year learning to survive. She was recalculating what I was worth now that I sat on the side of the table that decided who got paid. We should catch up, she said quietly, after the others had filed out. We're catching up right now, I said, closing my folder. This is what catching up looks like. I left her standing in a room she couldn't buy her way out of. She called 4 times that week. I let all 4 go to voicemail, not out of spite, but because I'd learned something in that year alone. Silence isn't cruelty when it's the same silence you were handed first. On the 5th call, I answered. I don't know what I did, she said, before I'd even said hello. One comment, Delphine. People say things at barbecues. You didn't say a thing, I said. You said the truth. I just finally believed you. There was a pause, the kind that used to make me apologize just to fill it. I let it sit there instead, untouched, hers to carry. The gala, she said, changing direction the way she always did when a conversation got too honest for her. Is my contract still? Still under review, I said. Same as everyone else's. I could hear it land, the understanding that I hadn't disappeared to punish her. I'd disappeared to become someone whose approval she now had to earn, the exact reversal of every year I'd spent trying to earn hers. I'll email the final vendor decision Friday, I said, and ended the call before she could turn my calm into another performance for the family group chat. Friday, I sent the email. Her contract wasn't renewed. Not out of revenge. Her proposal was simply, honestly, no longer the best one on the table. The gala happened without her. I stood at the back of the ballroom in a navy dress I'd bought for myself, no one's opinion attached to it, watching string lights flicker on above a room I'd helped build from nothing. My mother texted once that night. I hope it goes well for you. No name, no apology shaped like an apology. Just the smallest door left cracked open, the kind I used to run through barefoot, desperate for any warmth she'd offer. I read it once. Then I closed my phone and rejoined the room. I didn't need her admiration anymore. Somewhere in that year of silence, I'd stopped waiting to be noticed and started noticing myself, my own steadiness, my own quiet competence, the way I could stand in a crowded room now and not feel like the extra chair nobody remembered to set out. I still wear my grandmother's crescent moon clip most days. She was right, the moon does disappear on purpose sometimes. Not to punish anyone. Just to remember it can shine without being watched. My mother and I speak occasionally now, careful and unfinished, like 2 people rebuilding a bridge neither of us trusts yet. Maybe it holds. Maybe it doesn't. Either way, I'm no longer the one waiting to find out.